You talk about crime, you talk about the border, but there was one story that's really impacted a lot of people. This made national headlines. 25-year-old Ruby Garcia was allegedly killed by her boyfriend, an illegal migrant, and he reportedly was deported under Trump's administration. Talk to us about that. Michigan people there, they really want this to be a main target of the November election.
Absolutely, they do. We also have, Rose Garcia, tragic story. He was deported. And he was deported. He had a whole host of other criminal contacts with law enforcement. He gets deported and was got away, coming back across the border, worked his way back up into Michigan and took the life of this young woman who had her whole life ahead of her. And so it goes to show you how important it is to actually close the border. And for Biden just to walk away from this problem, to me, is almost unforgivable. And as I said, this is not the first time this has happened, not only in the country, but in Michigan. We had a 14-year-old get assaulted by an illegal immigrant in a pretty sleepy suburban kind of county, and he was sentenced, I think, in February. And so if you think about those criminal elements coming across the border, it's devastating, and people are starting to get to worry now. And now you're going to start separating Americans based on fear, and are you here legally or not? All of the things you don't want to happen are happening under Joe Biden. Here's the other one. We have criminal gangs, cartel gangs, operating in Michigan, doing these very sophisticated burglaries from Chile. And they were gang members before they got here. They used the porous southern border to come across the border. They set up operations in Michigan. They're operating in our southeast area, hitting homes of all sizes, using electronic gear that disables your alarms and gear that blocks police radios. I mean, pretty sophisticated stuff. These are criminal gangs operating on the soil in Michigan because of that porous southern border. And Donald Trump coming here tomorrow is going to highlight that and get people to start understanding, hey, this isn't some political rumble here. This has real consequences to our personal safety in our own communities right here in Michigan.
Yeah, and you mentioned these Chilean gangs, and we're seeing this happen in Detroit in very high-end neighborhoods, and they're doing these. They're terrorizing these neighborhoods. Essentially, you're there. Have you talked to people that are living there, and how are they feeling living in this community that they feel like was always safe, but now with this wide open border, it's not so safe, and they're very far from that southern border?
Yeah, I talked to the Oakland County Sheriff recently, who thought that had tamped it down, and they just had a whole series of break-ins happen over the last couple of weeks. And oddly enough, there were about 10 meetings in a row. I had different meetings, different business sectors, different people, where in each meeting they knew somebody, a neighbor, a friend, a family member who had been hit by these gangs. They are very prolific. And of course, you start to question, are we going to be able to keep this thing together? And it started at the southern border. And our police officers are already overwhelmed with crime. We have seen a spike in assaults and other things across the state. And now you have this new version of crime, which is the Biden migrant crime problem, coming to your neighborhoods. And it is. I mean, it's jolting when you have your house ransacked like that. You come home. It's a violation of your personal safety, of your personal space. And people are very, very concerned about it. And they're seeing it happen more and more and more. Then you see the death of Rose Garcia in Grand Rapids, the assault of the minor in Livingston County, Michigan. I mean, this is a huge problem. And candidly, I don't think Americans are going to forgive the Biden administration and congressional Democrats for this. They have brought crime to their neighborhoods. Nothing worse than that. If the government's supposed to do anything, it's supposed to protect you from that kind of activity. They're bringing it in. They're inviting it in. And you can see by even your pictures that you're showing just how overwhelming it is. There is no way to vet these people. And by the way, when you get one thrown out like this guy in Grand Rapids, he ran away, came across the border again, committed a murder. Yeah. That's the problem, and that it's only going to get worse. We have other gangs in the country that are starting to organize other gangs. The Venezuelans, who are pretty mean, it was a gang founded in prison, is now across the country trying to set up what we would formerly know as kind of the mafia family style event, where these gangs report to each other for cutting up territory to do drugs and human trafficking and gun running and all the things that we don't want in our communities. It is really, really a bad situation.
Yeah, and
the craziest thing is they could do something today about it.
Right.